What's up, YouTube, and welcome to another gameplay series. This is going to be on Judgment Apocalypse Survival Simulation. I wanted this game for a while, and it recently went on sale. It's like 50% off or something ridiculous, so that's reason enough. Yeah, we're going to jump right in. I have played a couple games, just kind of get into the swing of things and understand what I'm doing. We are going to be going on challenging difficulty, which is sort of just the standard setting. Here's the map seed if you wanted to copy that. I'm going to leave tutorials off because I've already kind of got a handle on what that stuff is. As far as the... this is kind of an annoyance about the game, is that it doesn't actually tell you what their, I guess, skills are. I'll explain it once I'm in game, but essentially I would avoid going with melees. Melees are a bit underwhelming, to be honest, so I would avoid those. But fighters don't necessarily mean they're melee. Fighters have like gun skills and stuff too, so fighters are fine. But what I'm gonna essentially go for is somebody who can farm, because farming is extremely important. Somebody who can gather water, because that's extremely important. Somebody who can craft. Now, ideally, I'd have one person also research. So what I'm gonna do is go for, well, you know what, I'll roll them and then we'll come back and we'll discuss them. Just a real quick note, the defenders are like the melees, that they're supposed to be the quote-unquote tanks, but I found they just die. Like, there's no reason to take one over like a ranged character. They're extremely unbalanced in my opinion. Maybe there's some sort of stealthy thing you can do with them and kind of flank and backstab. I don't know, but they're just kind of weak, so I would not recommend taking defenders. Alright, so these are the guys I've decided to go with. We've got a survivalist now. The profession up here, survivalist academic fighter, that determines what abilities you can level up later on. So that's pretty important as far as your starting strategy goes. So I've gone with the survivalist. Actually, this may be incorrect. You know what? It's fine. So I've got a gather here. This is just like the random attribute they can roll, which essentially they just gather faster. I've got a gardener with also vegan, because, well, that's double farm speed. This is going to be my main farmer. Also, when this person's not farming, they're going to be researching, which they have a little bit bonus research speed there, so that's nice there. And then I've gone with a fighter with a gangster trait, which means I'll be going into automatic weapons for this particular character later on. That's kind of all there is to it. I'll explain sort of the...
It was one of your monthly camping trips, escaping the daily routine, drinking beers and telling jokes. All of a sudden, two terrified hunters come running out of the dock, screaming at you to hide. You hear loud growling noises from the woods behind them. Out of the trees appears the creature, a beast like nothing you've ever seen before, straight out of a horror tale. It catches up with the hunters, and they turn to fight.
And this little starting point, these aren't actually your characters. I think this is just like a sort of a tutorial thing to kind of get you in the feel of what the combat's like. And you can't actually die, so don't worry about healing or anything. Just smack away. Also, you can use plus and minus to speed up the game speed there. We'll just smack this guy. The gray health is actually healable, so after the battle ends, you'll heal up to that point. The rest can be healed through other means. There's also like mid-combat heals, like Jeremiah's got a heal here. See it, but it will only heal gray health. It won't heal the missing health. There's also AoE heals, some other combat buffs and things, which you'll experience throughout this series.
The strange creatures lie dead. What were those things? They look like demons straight out of a horror film. But it's not over. You hear more growling sounds from the dark woods. More of the menacing creatures come swarming into the clearing. The hunters are surrounded and yell at you to run. You waste no time and do as they say. You climb a small hill that affords a clear view of the nearby town. It is already burning. You can hear the sound of growling and panicked screams carried across the wind. The creatures are everywhere. Going back is not an option. You decide to move away from the town, deeper into the woods. You find a remote clearing where you decide to regroup and try to figure out what just happened.
Spooky. Alright, so this is sort of our progression log here, and it just kind of gives you tasks that you should do to progress. So we gotta build a cabin and get some food and stuff. I'm gonna pause it right now just to kind of do the initial setup. The priority screen, I don't really like how it's sort of pictures it. When you have a lot of survivors, it can get very confusing. It's not very pleasing to look at and sort of sort through. So I wish that would be different, but it is what it is. All right, so here you can see the arrows, the preferred tasks on these, and if they're doing preferred tasks, they will gain more experience, so you want to prioritize those. So just make sure those are at the front. Who is our farmer? One thing I like to do is actually go here. So wait, skills. You're our gangster. Ronald is our gather. So I'll come to Ronald here. You can see a survivalist. He's got this basic set of skills. All survivalists will have this set, I'm pretty sure. Just like all academics will have this set, and et cetera, et cetera. So the profession is rather important in that regard as to what their role will be in the grand scheme of things. All right, so here's our gardener. So I'm going to take Liz, and I'm going to rename her. I'm just going to rename her farm, just so I know that she's my farmer. This doesn't really get a matter early on, but later it will come into effect. And Ronald is our gather. We'll just say gather. And Gregor is, well, he's our fighter, but we can name him something like, what's his skills? He's got automatic weapons, rifles, so maybe we'll name him like Scarface or something. There we go. That way just I can look at him and know that he's like a gunner, you know what I mean? Alright. So first thing we want to do is sort of look and see where we want to make our base. The map isn't very big, and you can see there's a limited resources. So once you claim those, your primary source is going to be from trading and or scavenging, which we'll get into later. But right now we've got plenty. So let's see, where do we want to set up the base? I'd say right here, because we kind of have a clearing. And one thing that I've been doing, I don't know if this is like standard strategy. I haven't really looked at any guides or anything, but one thing I do is sort of create a box out of rooms, out of cabins, and then have like one entrance, just a single lane entrance. That way all the enemies that attack filter in. Enemies do attack you from time to time. You can see this awareness meter here. As you gain more survivors and build more buildings and things, your awareness meter will go up. And then when it reaches full, there will be a wave that comes and attacks your village. So you want to kind of take it easy and not really expand too much until you're ready to take those on. They do start out really easy, like the first wave is only one little imp or something. But yeah, okay. So we've got our cabin building. We got to get food set up. One thing you can do is come to the base inventory here, and you can right click on something like wood, set a gather limit. So let's say I only want 100 wood, so they're not going to gather more than 100 wood, even if I queue up tasks for that. Same thing for water. Let's say 50 to 100, that's fine. Stones, let's put it like 40. The max you do want to change if you don't want them. The salad's fine. The max you want to lower if you don't want them to gain that much, because they will continue to harvest more if the max is up there. All right, so let's go ahead and chop the trees that we're going to need to chop for our expansion. So we'll just do something like that, and then something like, well, we won't queue up more right now. And then quarry. So we're going to quarry this clay. We're going to quarry this stone, and then we'll do some search debris on these things here. Whoops. You can hold shift to reissue tasks without having to go to the create task menu. All right, so that's good. We can go ahead and hit play. We'll just leave it on 2x speed right now. Research, that's right. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is build a food table, followed by a bed. There we go. Beds, I mean, beds are kind of self-explanatory, but when resting is one of the ways your survivors can regain health that has been lost in battles. Not gray health. Gray health heals after every battle, but you will lose like a portion. You have to rest, or there's medicine you can get from gathering these. Like this has medicine in it, so you can use that to heal later on once you research the infirmary. One thing about the research tree that I'm not sure if I like it or not, but it's very I want to say static, but that's not really the correct word. Like it's very linear. There's only one real path, right? And then you have a couple branching off. So it's not like I have tons of different options, tons of different routes I can go. It's just like, well, you can go this way and that's it. And maybe you can pick up these things along the way that are useful. But it's also kind of nice because the progression is very clear. Like I'm not questioning where I need to go because I don't really have any choice, right? But there are prerequisites for some things. Not in the research, actually. There's prerequisites to build certain things. For instance, I need to be able to make bricks to build, where is it? To build a stove for bread, but so I could research cooking without having brick making research, and cooking could be completely useless, right? Well, I guess I could still put a wheat farm, but I couldn't make a stove or anything. So that's something you gotta look for in the research tree. Make sure you actually can craft the materials needed before you research something. And you can look, you just right click on it, and then it'll show you like everything, and then you can right click on it, it'll tell you what you need to make it. Oh, I guess I don't need bricks for a stove. Let's see, what do we need? We need our research experiment table here. And beds people can walk through, so you can kind of line them up like this, but I think for other things, if you put them right next to each other, you can actually block access. I'm not 100% sure, I haven't tested that, but I remember doing it one time and noticing that crafting wasn't getting done because my crafting bench was behind my research bench. Colony management, shows you how much days worth of food and water you have. Also, I should build a well because running out of water is a nasty thing to have happen. Where do I want my well? I suppose right here is just as good as anywhere else. Also farming. Okay, I have some research, so let's get farming so we can get some food going. Gotcha. Okay. Where do I want my farms? Now, going along with the plan to sort of wall off my base using buildings, sort of like StarCraft in that sense. If you've ever played StarCraft, like Terran walls off ramps and stuff. Well, everybody kind of walls off ramps, but that's kind of what I'm going for here. And you can actually use farms to do this as well. However, enemies, ranged units can shoot over farms, so that's something to keep in mind. The question is, where am I going to have my entrance? I'm thinking I'll do it right here. I'll have my entrance at the south. That looks good. We'll just do that. I will have to sort of prioritize these rebels. Let's go ahead and speed it up. One tip I can give you is get all the survivors you can. Survivors are... You're not really going to be limited by food because it's very easy to expand into more farms. So just if you have an opportunity to go rescue a survivor, do it every single time. They're going to be the meat and potatoes, the backbone of your colony. All right, so we've got our research, we've got our farm. Next we need a workbench, and I think I can stick a workbench right there. They can still get by here, I believe. Okay, we got our first level up on our gather. I mean, naturally is our gatherer, so I'm going to want to put into gathering. The farmer gatherer, I don't plan on ever using them for combat if I don't have to. Obviously, when I get attacked, I'm going to use them. They're going to be equipped with bows and stuff. Food is running out. Well, I'm going to have to address that. But yeah, we're going to go into gathering. Did I not set my priorities? Not really. So I want you to fetch water, chop. Let's actually have you search debris before chopping. And farm. Where's my researcher? You're my farmer. Okay, I want you to farm first, then craft and research. And Scarface can build. It's important for your fighters, the people you're taking in combat, that you actually train them on combat dummies, because look, they don't have any aptitude for any of this other stuff or preferred tasks, and you want to level them up. So training dummies are going to be the way. I don't have any training dummies right now, so that's kind of moot, but you get the idea. I think all these are fine right now. We can leave them there as long as everything's getting done. Okay, what am I missing here? Nothing. All right, we're making food. I could use another farm. So this is going to be my entrance. I'm going to leave a single gap here. And the enemies are just going to kind of funnel in here. I'll have like ranged units. I'll probably have all ranged units, honestly. Unless I get a survivor that just does not have ranged abilities, then I'll make them melee, but otherwise everybody's going to be ranged. I found that to be the best strategy as far as fighting goes. Let's see. You're my farmer, so yeah, let's put you in some farming so you farm faster. And farmers actually, you end up having quite a bit of things to farm, and one farmer generally is not enough. And I don't think you actually have to follow this guide thing. It says craft 3 clubs, but I don't really want to. Clubs are kind of a waste. Like, you can do the research. Let me see. I can go in here, go bow making. Actually, can I make bows yet? Arrows. Okay, I know what I need. I need woodworking first. All right, let's build. Where's our sawmill? Sawmills can, your survivors can walk through them, so you can kind of place them in paths if you wanted to. We'll just stick it right there for now. All right, let's build another cabin. Ooh, we can't yet. Okay, what I'm gonna do is actually cancel all this stuff. I want them to prioritize the trees that are in the way of my next cabin. And the enemy can walk through trees and stones and things, and in fact they get cover if they're standing on them from ranged attacks, so it's good to remove those from the areas where the enemies will be approaching your base. And you can build yourself cover later on, like sandbags and things, so as long as you have a good defense, the later attacks aren't really an issue, as well as having a lot of ranged units. I think I said that kind of confusingly. It's good to have ranged units, basically. I've emphasized it enough to where you'll probably remember just ranged units all the time for attack. Okay, let's go. What are we gonna go to? The rituals and occults these are sort of like buffs. You can make occult items with these, but I don't have any occult research yet, so yeah, let's just go into bow making. Oops, hit play. So we'll make 6 arrows. We should actually, how many can I make? Let's make 12 arrows. Actually, we'll just make all the arrows because we need 3 bows for these 3 people. No melee weapons. Melee weapons are doo-doo. Well, I mean, the weapons themselves do decent damage, but just being in melee in itself is a disadvantage, right? So one important thing to note is that crafting is very important. Crafting is making things like salads, because the farms only give you vegetables, and they can't eat vegetables. I don't think they can anyway. But yeah, crafting is important because crafting is your food and your weapons and multiple other things, so it's important to have crafting high up on the priorities list. Eventually, I'll get somebody who can be crafting first, and then we'll move the research right here. That way, whenever my farmer's not farming, they're researching, because endgame research takes a lot. Like, if we come down here, let me see, where is it? Oh, yeah, 720 for this one. Like, that's a lot, man. There we go. Okay. Make 3 bows instead of 3 clubs, because clubs are doo-doo. Actually, how much damage? 10 damage, 4 attack speed, 5.3 DPS. Yeah. So those do slightly more DPS, but they're also ranged. So you start doing that DPS earlier. So this is a little warning, attack imminent. This is just going to be like one little imp. No worries. Alright, so we should have, yeah, we've got 3 bows here. We can equip those, approved. And we can just hit Q to select all, right click, good to go. Good speed it up. In combat, you can only do 2 times speed, which is a good thing, trust me. Because survivors die very quickly, like within a few hits. So it's good that you can't go super speed. Scavenge a nearby location. All right. We're not going to be scavenging. We're going to be waiting until we get a survivor pop-up. We will get a pop-up saying somebody needs help. And that's how we'll know. Okay, Scarface. Now, I don't want to go into automatic weapons right away because I don't have any automatic weapons. And it's probably going to be a while before I get some. So, we could go into health, but I'm not really liking that. Damage seems more of a solid choice to me. And the little plus sign is an ability. So whenever you see this plus, you get to choose basically. So I can choose 5% accuracy or 4 vision range. And at the end of damage here, I have 3 different options I can choose. Although Scarface has nothing to do right now. So let me see here. Scarface. Yeah, that's fine. You can just help out with this stuff because we don't have any training dummies yet. Can I build one? I can, but I don't have wheat. We need a wheat farm first. So let's see, wheat. I think we're gonna need brick making before I get wheat. Let's get brick making, and we can get cooking as well. Oh, I should have got patchwork actually. You know, we're almost a patchwork. All right. Yeah, you can actually support 3 survivors with 1 farm if you work it at 100% efficiency. And the efficiency, you can actually, where is it? Here. The efficiency at the bottom, you can kind of hover over it and read what it is. The efficiency can be increased by assigning survivors tasks they're good at. And with a base planning that minimizes walking time. So essentially just less walking, more working. To increase efficiency, but I've found it's quite hard to get 100% efficiency. Maybe I'm just not doing it correctly, but I don't know. 2 farms always seems kind of important at the start, otherwise I run out of food. Even with a really good farmer like I started with, so. All right, we got a trader, but traders early on are kind of useless because all they do is just flaunt weapons in your face. Say, look what you can't have. That's pretty much it, because you're not gonna have any money early on. I mean, look, I could sell this for like 40, but this bow's 600. I mean, this rifle's 240, but I don't really have anybody use rifles right now. Okay, so we got our first survivor. But yeah, these mines, I haven't actually gotten to the mines yet because the research is, let's see, you have to get mineral extraction, which takes a research kit. One thing to point out is these research materials right here, this research kit, you can't actually make these. You have to get them scavenged, and the places where you scavenge them are very difficult. So I haven't gotten to the mining part yet, but this run, I'm gonna get it. I know it. Now we are almost at, here's the issue. The survivors normally come around 90% is kind of just an annoyance. I wonder if I can make it there. So let's just do, I think we'll only need 1 guy. Yeah. So let's take, okay, what is that symbol, man? Alright, let's go, wait. Oh, I have to have 2 participants. Okay. Well, let's just add our gather. We want our farmer to continue doing things while we're away. So let's do this for now and go get our go get our survivor. See, we should have plenty of time before the attack hits to get back. Not that we would specifically need everybody to defend this attack. It should be quite easy. Alright, so here's sort of the encounters. Not all of them are like this. Some of them you can auto-resolve. So it'll just happen by itself. But the ones where you rescue survivors and other specific events, you'll need to kind of fight yourself. You can see the gray health there. That will heal up after this battle is over. But the little missing bit will have to be recovered through resting on the bed. And we're just looking at the mini-map for an exclamation point, which is going to be our survivor. There they are. So this part of it, we're going to take our gather and start rescuing. And we have to go through and wait for him to actually rescue. And while he's rescuing, we'll get attacked by other demons. I'm going to take Scarface, get a little bit of cover here against this range unit. You can see he didn't get hit. Cover actually gives you, it increases your evasion. So we can select everybody with Q, hit retreat, and they'll run to the exit. And that's that. We got our survivor. We can take Jan here, look at her skills. She's an engineer, so probably not going to be a fighter. Well, definitely not going to be a fighter. She has like no weapon skills aside from tech weapons, which I'm probably not even gonna have. All right, so we can take these guys and run them back to base. And we're still at 92%, so we should be able to get there in time. Jan automatically goes back to base. She doesn't have to run. All right, priorities for Jan here. Occultist research isn't that important. So, you know what? We'll do crafting, and then we can put our farmer to research here. Can you upgrade crafting? You can. All right, cool. So you'll craft, and then quarry, and then... We don't want you doing research. Just move the research down here. I could disable it. The reason I don't want her doing research is because I want my farmer to do research. Farmer's faster at research, and she's gonna have plenty of time to do that. So we'll do crafting, hit the quarries, hit the mines, which I won't have. Yeah, that's fine. Speed things up. We've got an attack that's coming pretty soon here. We've got room to build our second cabin, so this is what I'm gonna do. You can rotate with comma and period, by the way. We're gonna leave one gap in between, and then I'm gonna take one of these smaller cabins, and I'm gonna put it right there. Well, we're crafting forearmors right now, but we're not gonna have them by the time this gets here. That's okay, this attack should be pretty simple. Oh, I also don't have a bow. Crap. No. Okay, well, hopefully, we'll use Jan to kind of tank front shots here. Simple. Easy attack. Yes, the vegetables don't have a food value, so they can't be eaten raw, which doesn't really make sense, but it's a game. And then, yeah, we're gonna be eating primarily salad for a while. It's gonna be a bit before we actually get anything else. Okay, we can actually rename to Rockcraft. There we go. That way I know she's a crafter and she farms rocks. We need a occultist library. Well, we don't need one. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to set up is boards. So I want to auto craft like 20 boards. Also like 20 bricks. So we've got a scouting party, which means enemy demons are so... Oh my gosh, that's a lot actually. I can't even take this scouting party. Man, that symbol is... I don't think I can actually beat this scouting party with... Well, I could. That's not true. I could. Let me put some armors on, put a bow on. There we go. All right. So let's go defeat him. I'm gonna have to go manage here. And we're gonna put this guy in. Approved. Okay. Yeah. We'll just take 3 people. We should be able to beat him. We might do a little bit of scavenging on the way back because just good use of our time. Really depends on how low we are, but there's some people with just like 1 minor demon. There's some points of interest with just 1 demon here, which should be quite easy to take with 3 people. Yeah, so scouting parties you have to fight. I'm a little worried. Do this. We'll just get behind cover. That way any ranged units have to go through our cover. Good. Apparently there's one more. There we go. Okay, we got another survivor. Okay, well that's good. Let's go ahead and send them on over. We'll decide what to do. Actually, it should be just 1 demon, so I don't think I have to... Okay, it's a little more. The early survivor rescues are quite easy. Like, you could do this with 2 people, probably, 2 survivors. But better safe than sorry, right? Alright, Sarah, what do you got for me? Okay, we got another fighter, cool. I like that. We'll hit this one. And then we'll probably just head back, because I don't want to scavenge too much right now. I'd rather be clearing trees for more cabins and things so I can wall off my base. Oh, there's another survivor, so let's go ahead and head out there. And if you start rescuing before you kill these, they will actually, let's see, they will actually be aware of you. So they'll come try to attack you while you're doing that. So it's best to clear the map before you try the rescue. Michael, what do you got for me, bud? Archer. Not really a great archer, to be honest. We still don't have bricks. Why don't? Oh, we can build a training dummy though. Let's see, where do we want to put these? Look at your skills again. So you've got archery, which gives you attack speed, damage accuracy with bows, more accuracy, and then rifles. Well, we don't want to go archery and rifles. That would be not great. So what we're gonna end up doing is either turning him into like a farmer, because having multiple farmers is going to be beneficial, or we could go archery with evasion and sort of put this guy up front. He does have stalwart too, so we could do archery, evasion, and stalwart. I think I'll do that. So Michael will eventually be sort of our frontline archer. Archers don't normally tank, but I'm telling you, man, ranged units are just, there's no reason to do anything but ranged units in this game right now. Melee's just completely underwhelming. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button so I know you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.